The following program is brought to you by Podcast One Sportsnet.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips we provide our clients. One of the mistakes that guys often make in divorce is that they move out of the house simply because their wife told them to. And often this is a mistake because it means that their wife is in a position to be the sole parent of the kids. It means that the guy has surrendered possession of assets potentially. There are often records they leave behind. This is an important decision, and guys shouldn't make it simply because their wife has pointed toward the door.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's San Francisco area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 650-389-1111. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in San Francisco, San Mateo, and San Jose. Se habla español. Legal services available in English and Spanish. Kimberly Llewellyn, licensed in California.
Direct from the heart of Lakers Nation, Podcast One Sportsnet brings you America's Lakers Podcast with Jay Mohr, the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers. Get the inside scoop without the gossip about your favorite team that lives up to the purple and gold standard. Here's your host, Jay Mohr.
Yeah, oh, hoo-ha. We beat the Thunder, weather, Mother Nature, underneath the L. Yeah. Aaron, it's America's Lakers Podcast.
It is, Al. Thank you for having me.
Hoo-ha. Jay Mohr, Aaron Larsuel, you're listening to the official.
Jay, not Al.
No, Al just walked out.
Okay.
Wear my pointy shoes. Dance time. Whoa.
Al moves quickly for an old man.
Yeah. You know why? Do you know why?
I don't.
I was hoping you did. America's Lakers Podcast, the official podcast, the only official podcast of your Los Angeles Lakers. You know, there's two Al Pacino voices. When he's young, it's real high. He sounds like Tyne Daly from Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Javi. We're Vietnam veterans, okay? What's in the bag there? What's under the desk? A squirrel?
What's the movie? Is it Bank Robber, right? Isn't
right
he Bank
around
Robber?
Haiti, somebody drops a piano on his back. Benny Blanco from the Bronx. Dog Day Afternoon.
Right, so that's Dog Day Afternoon's the first
voice. I can call anybody on his phone. I can talk to the Pope. I can talk to Lonzo Ball if I want to.
And then right around, let me tell you, Lakers win. Lakers with a great road trip, my friends. 3-2, we all would have said yes, please.
Yep.
Chicago, Brooklyn, OKC, another one bites the dust. A loss to Toronto, one of the best coached teams in the NBA, Dwayne Casey. Doing
Close
what
loss.
Dwayne
Toronto.
Casey does. The Orlando game was like the flu. It hit you all at once, and everything went wrong. Every single thing that could go wrong went wrong. And I said when you were in Chicago talking to Alex and Juan.
Yeah, the fans wearing the Laker jerseys. Yeah,
you had three. Who's your favorite Laker? Randall, right. Ball, and Ingram. I said Orlando was a must-win because they should win every statistical category, every positional player. Orlando didn't play certain guys. They were out or whatever. But when you beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, that, you know what? I don't care that we lost to Orlando. Of course I care.
Right.
But that was a great road trip. 10-4 in the last month. That is tied. Your Lakers are tied with the Golden State Warriors for the best record last month in the NBA, baby.
Yes.
What's
going
on with
association?
With the rest of the association? I said when you're on the road, the West is a mess. Mm-hmm. The Cavaliers are a mess. The
Cavaliers are a disaster. Yes.
It's funky.
Well, I think a lot of it is some of the teams that have shaken themselves from the pack, the Warriors and Houston and the Celtics, have struggled a little bit recently because I think they're kind of looking for, not the finish line, but they're looking for the All-Star break to kind of recharge. And then I think that the quickening of the moving up 10 days, the trade deadline's been moved up 10 days to this coming Thursday, and I think that has forced a lot of teams kind of force their hand. You have to establish earlier what you think if you're a buyer or a seller. So that accelerated process, I think, has caused for some anxiety throughout the league. And so I think there's some unease with a lot of the teams around the league.
That's a very good statement because with this road trip, I think the unease has sort of rolled down Figueroa Boulevard into the ocean. The Lakers were buyers all the way, and they will be buyers with the one max slot that they have. But I'm good, bro. I can imagine like Pelinka. Obviously, somebody says, "Hey, do you want Russell Westbrook?" Pick any two guys you want. I don't care.
Sure.
I mean, stranger things have happened. I guess probably not, but this is a team, and I told you, when they play like this, I told you 2 weeks ago, I don't want anybody to get traded. They just click on all cylinders. And when we see Brandon Ingram playing backup point guard, at first It's like, oh, let's see how this goes. And he almost had a triple-double. It was great.
Yeah, you're talking about the game in Brooklyn. We have talked for a long time on this podcast, the first handful of episodes, 4 or 5 episodes, the difference between a nominal position and a functional position. And Brandon Ingram nominally is almost always a small forward, occasionally a shooting guard, occasionally a power forward. But in the Brooklyn game, he was functionally a backup point guard. And we'll get into later why that I think that needs to happen more. But when Brandon is playing like he did, as you mentioned, in Brooklyn and damn near had a triple-double.
Robin Harris, damn near had a triple-double.
I brought my shoes. I was going to play.
10 assists, man.
Yeah. So,
well, let's talk about it right
okay.
now.
Okay.
Actually, listen to this real quick, and we're going to break down Brandon Ingram being maybe not a panacea, but an elixir. Those are fancy words. Billy Hayes, La Machine, in the house from the Republic of Brooklyn. Your Brooklyn Nets got...
Not my Brooklyn Nets, my Los Angeles Lakers.
Who in these United States goes, that's my Brooklyn Nets, bro?
I don't think anybody since they moved to Brooklyn. You could probably get a few people back when they were in New Jersey. You could probably get a few people.
Oh, yeah.
A very few people, but
and
a few people.
Well, Dr.
The Kerry Kittles, Jason Kidd days. You could probably the Richard Jefferson and Kenyon Martin days. You could probably get not
Kerry
in the finals.
Kittles, man, that broke my heart when he started breaking down. That kid could jump out of the gym. Brandon Ingram,
yes,
against the Brooklyn Nets. 16 points, 8 boards, 10 assists. Now, you're going to explain why this is a good thing.
Yeah, so Brandon as the backup point guard, what I think most about it is that it tightens up the team's rotation. When you can play Brandon, especially when Lonzo comes back, when you can play Brandon as a backup point guard, it puts pressure on guys in roles that they are capable of. Because of Lonzo's injury and because of the team, we've talked about this before, the lack of backup ball handling.
Oh, boy. I love ball handling.
Because of how the roster was constructed, I mean, guys that did a lot of the pick-and-roll work last year, D'Angelo Russell, Lou Williams, those guys aren't here, and there haven't been specific replacements other than Lonzo Ball brought in to handle pick-and-roll duties, which largely, as a point guard in the NBA now, or a primary ball handler in the NBA now, it's largely a lot of pick and roll. And frankly, Tyler Ennis and to a lesser extent, Alex Caruso just aren't good enough to handle those responsibilities yet. I think Caruso can become that guy, but as it stands right now, he's not a good enough scorer to put any fear in the defense.
Let me agree with you up front, right? The fact that Brandon Ingram, a 4 at Duke, a 3 in the NBA, a 2 sometimes in the NBA, can come in off the street and get 10 assists. Obviously, they're not good enough for the responsibilities because a guy down the row on the bench, you want to try it? Yeah, sure. They should have played like Sweet Georgia Brown when he was out there.
So now, that's a very good Harlem Globetrotters reference. But the fact that you don't have to play guys the minutes they're not ready for or in roles they're not ready for. The fact if you can slot Brandon Ingram in as a backup point guard and let Josh Hart do a little bit of that also, especially once Lonzo comes back, you don't have to put a lot of pressure on Tyler Ennis and Alex Caruso, guys that frankly aren't ready or aren't good enough to handle those roles. The Lakers should be playing probably 9 guys right now once Lonzo comes back. And frankly, Ennis and Caruso aren't guys that really should be playing a lot of NBA minutes yet.
I once played 9 guys. Nothing to it.
How did it go? It went well for you?
Well, I have 10 nipples.
Oh, so that's actually pretty easy. So I like Brandon being able to do that because it slides everybody into roles that are more comfortable for them.
Let's make no mistake.
Yes.
He's not exactly like Joe Handles.
No, I mean,
But
he's
16, 8, and 10 is 6. Like, when people say, like, I'm not a big fan of analytics, well, then you're an idiot. Because the analytics are statistical evidence of what just happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
If
think
you have a bruise on your back, it's an analytic of getting hit with a snowball in the back.
Right. I think that people make a mistake of going too far in either direction. If you take only the numbers, only the analytics, and that completely outweighs what you see, and it disagrees with what you're seeing, not being able to marry the two of them, I think, is where people get into trouble. And there are organizations, there are general managers, et cetera, that go, in my opinion, too far in one direction or the other. You know, Charles Barkley says he doesn't believe in analytics at all. That's a ridiculous thing to say. So if you
Chuck said something weird.
Imagine that. But you know, the analytics on Brandon Ingram so far as a point guard or as a ball handler, they're not particularly awesome. Look, he's
averaging the same amount of assists as Zoe.
He's in the 30th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler,
but in 2 games as the point guard, he's got 7 assists.
It's not great.
Of course not. But it's better than what they had.
Exactly.
And kudos to Luke Walton for saying, you know what I noticed in practice is you actually can do a hook pass across court and deliver it on a dime. So,
and I think it also, Brandon is, and Luke wants him to do this. You and I have talked about him or just generally, we've spoken conceptually about mid-range jump shots and kind of where they're going in the NBA and if they're going to be in the NBA going forward. But Luke Walton really likes Brandon shooting a lot of mid-range shots. The reason for that is because he puts so much pressure on the defense off the bounce, collapsing guys to the rim, that eventually he's going to have to stop and be able to shoot, pull-up jumpers.
Are you smiling because of what I'm thinking?
Yes.
Accelerated gravity?
Yes.
Okay. I love you, man.
So the fact that Luke wants to, and in kind of a money ball kind of way, right now the defense is doing just generally around the NBA, defenses are doing the calculus that we're most afraid of people at the rim and we're most afraid of threes, so we're giving up mid-range shots. People guard the pick and roll. A lot of teams drop, and they guard the pick and roll to encourage mid-range jump shots. And in a money ball kind of way, maybe now Brandon can be one of those guys who is so good at it that it becomes like an undervalued quality in it. C.J. McCollum from the Blazers is really good at it. There's
Lehigh, baby.
Yeah, there's a few guys around the league, but
scouting.
I think that
out of Lehigh.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you just said Brandon Ingram's in the 30th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler.
It's not good.
Where's Ennis?
Not that good.
So, like, if Ennis was a baby and you brought him to the pediatrician, the percentiles would be put him back inside.
Yeah, I mean, to be like,
he's not ready yet.
We're gonna try to be.
This ain't Syracuse.
We're trying to be fair on this podcast, right? We try to be honest.
No, I'm asking what the pediatrician would say.
The pediatrician would say that baby Tyler Ennis does not have much of an idea of what he's doing playing the pick and roll.
Look,
is that what you were asking?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not me and you saying that. It's the pediatrician saying, or the OBGYN or whoever.
I just think he looks like Muttley. You're the one that keeps saying he's not an NBA point guard. Come on.
He's like, well, he hasn't been.
We call
good.
a spade a spade.
Right. He has not.
It is what it is. Jordan Clarkson is the nominal and functional backup point guard, which begs the question: why not start Jordan Clarkson at point guard instead of Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, and
because then you have two real shooters.
We talk about that the way that lineups are constructed. Sometimes it is not. And fans of every team, the thing that boils them the most is their coach. Everybody hates who their coach plays when. It's a league-wide thing. NBA fans always hate their coaches' rotations. But sometimes
Dwayne Wade hates it so. Hey, Aaron, it's Norm McDonald.
Yes, Norm.
Dwayne Wade hates it so much to Tyrone Lue. He goes, you know what? I'll come off the bench.
Yes.
I'll volunteer.
And look how well that's worked for Cleveland.
Yikes.
So everybody hates coaches' rotations, but sometimes what people need to understand or remember is that sometimes lineups are constructed, especially starting lineups, not necessarily to get just your 5 best players on the floor. Jordan Clarkson is definitely one of the Lakers' 5 best players, but you need to not just completely fall apart when the guys go to the bench, when the starters aren't on the floor. So sometimes you want to say hold a little something back to offer a little punch off the pine.
Lonzo Ball, if he actually lost his leg,
Yes.
in the Civil War, like a Battle of Appomattox.
They had to, amputate. He'd be biting down on something as they amputate. Yeah,
he'd be on the floor faster than he's been from this, which has turned out this is not a minor knee sprain. It's an MCL.
Yeah,
and
it is a strange one.
And there's no reason to bring him back because there's no rookie wall. If you miss, 2.5, 3 weeks of basketball, when he does come back, it's not like we saw Kuzma run through the buzzsaw of the rookie wall all of a sudden, and then he has a breakout game, then he has 6 points, then he's got 28 points. When Zoe comes back, I would hope he's going to be in pretty good shape, and with Gunther, the trainer there, he is working out. He is at practice.
Yes, he has been working out. And by the way, that 10-4 record that you mentioned earlier that ties the Warriors for the best, 10 of those games have been without Lonzo. But
the wins.
one of the problems with I think it will take. Yes, I know he's been doing some work, but it is very hard when it's a lower extremity injury to keep your wind up. You can work out and lift and do some things, but as far as running around and being in basketball shape, cardiovascularly,
and their tempo is one of sprinting.
Exactly. Yeah, the Lakers play. Last I checked, the Lakers played the fastest pace in the league.
More than that, I would say is you cannot with comedians and athletes. The one emotion you're not allowed to introduce into their heads is doubt.
Right.
So if I'm doubting whether or not I can make a cut, lights out. I'd rather just over cautious it, like Luke's been doing. Like the training staff has been doing a great job. Julius Randle made Carmelo Anthony look like my son. My son.
Yeah, I think
Mackey's probably.
I think Mackey's probably a better defender than Carmelo, but
he killed.
He did. I think it was 18 or 19 plays that Julius posted up against Carmelo yesterday before the Super Bowl. I think it was 18 or 19 touches for Julius against Melo in the post, which led to a shot, a free throw, a turnover. That's usage. Basically, there's called usage. It was 18 or 19 times, and in those 18 or 19 attempts, the Lakers scored 1.44 points per possession. So every time Julius touched the ball in the post,
they had a point.
The Lakers scored 1.44, average 1.44, and that would be the 90. If that was a whole year, if Julius, if that was his rate on post-up touches for the year, he would be in the 99.5 percentile.
That's a big baby.
That's
a big baby.
Like, basically, if that happened, if you take all those touches that Julius had against Melo and extrapolated that over games in the course of a season, Julius Randle would be the single best post-up player in the NBA.
That's amazing.
That's how good he was yesterday in the post against OKC.
I've been a Melo apologist for a very long time, and it sort of stopped when he got to OKC. I have said for a very long time
he can still shoot
it.
Buckets.
He's the best scorer since Bernard King, and I'm skipping Ewing and everybody. It's Bernard King, Melo, dot.
You're talking about the best Knicks scorer.
Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I apologize.
Yeah.
So
not Charles Oakley?
I'm not. Yes, Oakley number 1.
Okay.
Mace 2. Then I got King and Melo tied for 3. When Mike Woodson moved Carmelo Anthony to the 4, this didn't happen to Melo, but that shows you the evolution of the NBA. We're getting into the trade stuff next very quickly, but that shows you what you've been trying to educate me on. I'm just telling you I'm learning now. That shows you the evolution of the NBA. Carmelo didn't get posted like this when he was a 4 in New York in the East, and it was it was a physical league then. Yep. So you put Julius Randle in 2002, 2000. Forget it.
Yes.
So he's proving again and again and again. Look, last time they played OKC, he had to go up against Steven Adams, who was picking up cars and throwing them across the arena. He was the strongest man there.
Yes.
So when you put him on Melo, it's kind of like when Lonzo Ball had Patrick Beverly, then he had John Wall, he had Bradley Beal.
Right, and Steph Curry, and yeah.
And then by the time Reggie Jackson came in, he's like, get off me, beat it, kiddo. So is Julius Randle still the best Los Angeles Laker?
Yes.
You said that without any hesitation.
I don't have
Is there any statistical category where you go, he's below average here? Free throw shooting.
He is, yeah, I mean, he's not a good jump shooter, but he does other things to kind of mitigate the damage in not being a jump shooter. But generally in the league now, your big guys, your 4s specifically, but also your 5s, you have to be able to block shots and stretch the floor and shoot the ball. And Julius doesn't do either one of those things
I
particularly well.
I
but
disagree about the stretching the floor.
but
I
he,
hate it.
yeah, I
I
know
hate
you-
Kevin Love's a floor
I know you do.
stretcher. I'll call a guy to put in carpets if I need my floor stretched. If you're 7 feet tall, see that basket with the orange, sir? Get under the basket and get me some rebounds, all right? Sorry, I get a little frustrated. Joe Pesci's going to talk to all these floor stretchers in a minute.
He's got some things to say.
Look, I'm looking all the way up. I got a stiff neck. You're 7 feet tall. You're out by the 3-point line like somebody's, hey, what are you doing? Get under the basket, you stuttering, mumbling love.
Let's talk about this for a second. We have a Ask ALP question from Lady Boss herself.
Yes,
We
do.
love you, Jeanie Buss. Linda Rambus, hello. Stacy Kennedy, hello. Tim Harris, the man. Woo-wee! We got it. We got a great one from Joe Gillen as well. Pick these up on the Twitter, hashtag AskALP. Trade stuff, the deadline, Thursday, noon Pacific time.
Correct.
The
And,
Lakers.
and just one point of clarification, that doesn't mean you will hear about all the trades by noon Pacific time. What that actually means is that what happens when a trade happens is the two teams agree to it, and then they talk to the league. And they both teams, or a representative from both teams, has to be on a conference call with the league, and they have like a queue, like a lineup. So if there's a bunch of calls into the league, sometimes like the league won't hear about it until later. But the teams have to agree and have to be at least on hold with the NBA by noon Pacific time.
So like the commissioner can't even go get lunch.
Correct. But they have to make sure the league has to approve it, make sure all the salaries match and all that.
He left for the day. Can you take a message? Yeah, tell him. Oh, gosh, are you serious?
So both teams, the teams have to be, and like I said, there can be a queue. So if there's 5 trades that need to go down at 11:56 Pacific time, sometimes the league won't have the chance to go through them until later. But both teams have to be on the conference call with the league.
We'll
by
know
noon.
about them, though. I mean, with guys
You'll know about them later.
like you and me.
You'll know about them later. Yes, you and I would know.
We'll know about them.
But
Woj will know about them.
They'll come out. They will be released to the
fake
public.
bloggers will know about fake trades like Nerlens Noel for Julius Randle.
Watch Nerlens Noel get traded for Julius Randle, and then we're all going to be.
That would make me switch teams.
I wouldn't understand that. I'll say
An
that.
expiring contract for an expiring contract doesn't make sense.
I would-
I know you don't have any money, so let me give you $0 and get you back on your feet.
I wouldn't. I would be surprised. I wouldn't. That would be difficult for me to comprehend. I wouldn't understand it.
Hey, you know what?
But who knows?
These people have forgotten more about basketball than
But
I'll
who
ever know. Monroe.
Yes, Greg Monroe.
Buyout.
Yes.
Phoenix. Where does he go? Has
He signed. Yeah, he did. He signed with the Celtics, so he is going to kind of.
Bye-bye, LeBron. That means
yeah.
the air traffic from Cleveland to L.A. just got a little less expensive, and that 6-hour flight became about, 3.5 hours. No big deal. It's like a 2-hour flight, Bron. Just come on in. There's no reason.
The water's fine.
You are not going to beat the Celtics with the worst defender in the NBA in J.R. Smith, with Iman Shumpert, with Isaiah Thomas. Where do you think the Cavaliers thought they would get better in getting Kyrie Irving and Isaiah Thomas and a pick?
Well, I think what's important to think about that. Look, the Celtics won the trade, but
yes,
when the Cavs,
and then they just won Greg Monroe.
I think the Cavs' thinking was that they don't know what LeBron's going to do. And last time when LeBron left, they put all the eggs into the LeBron basket, and then LeBron left, and the team was kindly not very good until he came back.
Kyrie Irving's a genius.
Well, yeah, and they had Kyrie Irving.
Get me out of here.
They had 3 of 4 picks. The 4 years that LeBron was gone in Miami, the Cavs had the number 1 pick in 3 of those years. Kyrie, Anthony Bennett, and Andrew Wiggins, who they traded for Kevin Love.
Bennett.
I think the Cavs were afraid.
Swinging a mess, down goes Cleveland.
And they are afraid that if LeBron leaves this time, they have to have their, they have to have plans in place for the post-LeBron time. So I think they are very concerned, which is why I think the main part of that trade with the Celtics was not the Isaiah Thomas portion of it, but rather the draft pick that they got from the Celtics by way of Brooklyn. So I think the Cavs are kind of stuck. I mean, the Cavs are a terrible basketball team right now, but I think the Cavs are also stuck kind of being held hostage by LeBron. They don't know what to do. They want to try to do their best to keep him and pour all their resources into now and making the best team now and trying to keep him. But if they do that and LeBron still leaves, they have nothing going forward.
Well, and no draft pick is going to make up for a cyborg leaving.
No, I agree with you, but I would rather have the Brooklyn pick. If LeBron is going to leave anyway, I would rather have the Brooklyn pick to help start the rebuild.
This is a very, very rampant case, Aaron, of, it seems like one phone call from LeBron to whoever the powers that could be in Cleveland would clear all this up. It's a communication breakdown. LeBron just has to go, by the way, you know I'm coming back next year. Or by the way.
I don't think LeBron knows that. LeBron is
There's a guy at a Toyota dealership, not sponsored, right now that knows that he's going across the street to the Mitsubishi, not sponsored, dealership next year. He just hasn't told anybody. Everybody knows where they're going to go. This is like Tom Brady not knowing if he's going to be a Patriot. Of course he knows where he's going.
Yeah,
it's
but
his brain. It's his going to bed every... Why am I yelling at you?
I don't think LeBron has decided yet. I think he may have some leanings, but I don't think LeBron has decided yet. Because if he had decided he was going...
I've never thought this before this podcast today. I am certain he's leaning from Cleveland.
Oh, I agree with that.
His head's out the car window like a dog when you go to the beach, like, Yahoo! I wish I could run this fast.
So absolutely. I agree with that.
Who asked you, Hayes?
Nobody.
Oh, sorry.
I agree with that.
Billy
but if you're Cleveland, if you were Kobe Altman, who is now the GM, and Dan Gilbert, the owner, who does not get along with LeBron at all, but needs him around because his franchise is worth twice as much with LeBron there as if it's not, I don't know what Cleveland does. If they suspect that LeBron is leaving, or they think it's 50-50 that LeBron is leaving, what are they supposed to do?
I'll tell you what you do. LeBron, I need to see you in my office. I need you to open up that drawer. There you go, buddy boy. You own 10% of the Cleveland Cavaliers, baby. And LeBron goes, you know what? This is all I've ever wanted in my whole life is to be respected like this.
Well, LeBron, I think some stories have come out recently that LeBron does would like to, and expects to own a team. I don't know if it'll be the
get
Cavs,
behind Kobe,
but he'll
get
own
behind
a team.
Shaq, get behind the Laker greats.
Shaq does own a little piece of the Kings.
A
piece of the Sacramento Kings.
I guess he bought it off of Maloof or something. Who knows? The trades, look, this team, and this is just fact, this is not subjective. If you trade Jordan Clarkson to make room for a second max player, and you include a guy like Julius Randle to sweeten that, because Julius Randle's stock right now might be the highest in the NBA.
And plus, a lot of people, one of the reasons, in addition to Julius Randle being a very, very good NBA basketball player, the other reason his stock is going to be very high, and this in some ways benefits the Lakers, two reasons. One, this coming summer, there's not going to be a lot of money out there for teams to spend, which will kind of artificially depress prices that teams offer free agents. So you'll be able to bring guys back or sign guys for less than you would have 2 summers ago. The other thing is offers get depressed also because Julius is a restricted free agent. So a lot of other teams, even if they would say, hey, normally we'd give Julius $12 million, or 15, whatever, the offers will be lower because teams often think that the incumbent team will just match the offer, and they don't like having their cap space tied up. If I give you an offer,
if it's $8 million, you bet your baloney the Lakers will match that in 1 second.
Exactly,
because our number was 15.
Exactly.
That's what we would spend to keep him. But what I was going to say is,
so his value is higher.
It's higher than Lou Williams's was.
Oh, absolutely.
But you got to keep in mind, not you, the listener has to keep in mind. 6 weeks ago he was a bum. And everybody's like, Embiid killed him. Well, yeah, because no matter what you do or your footwork, you're always going to be 6'8". Yeah, you're not Draymond Green.
And Embiid kills a lot of people. There's no.
Oh, that was amazing watching him play.
There's no shame in Julius Randle being a very good NBA player. There's some guys that are great.
So if you get Randle and Clarkson to a team for an expiring contract before Thursday at noon and you're on hold with the league waiting for that to go, if I'm LeBron James or if I'm Paul George, I go, so let me get this straight. I'm going to play with Lonzo Ball and then 5 forwards. There's nobody to play. I want to play with Julius Randle. I want somebody to rebound my misses and kick them back out to me. I want another shooter on the floor like Clarkson. Bron loves a shooter. So I think the Lakers, and I think it's this 10-4, they won 4 games in a row twice in January, suddenly are in incredible shape. Like, Rob Pelinka should pick up the phone like Vincent Price. Like, hello. Like, just real heavy, effeminate hands and, like, a silk robe. Like, yes, hello. Maybe. Click.
Cackling like the end of the Thriller video.
Oh, I hope so.
But the other thing to remember is...
Do you think they're in... I think they're in...
I think they're in...
They got the league by the
I think the
cojones.
Lakers are in... They're in a dangerous position, but I think the Lakers are in a good position. It is dangerous because having to time everything correctly, so you can have the space to offer
it's like
guys.
a bank heist.
Because then, if it doesn't go as you want, you've already made moves to try to clear space for that plan. The only thing that kind of concerns me, I think the Lakers have damaged their own leverage a little bit by making their plans so abundantly clear.
If they go for the one max,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the only focus of Rob, Magic, Jeanie, Linda, Timmy, everybody,
Right.
and this two max is a smokescreen. This is all, who knows. If you just only think of one max contract, dear listener, whoa, let's do it.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
that's already in play. There's
This is the
already you don't
best-
need to do anything for
This
that.
is the best core in the history of the NBA. Now, before you roll your eyes, which you're not, Brandon Ingram, nobody's 25, Aaron. Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle.
It's a very, very good young. It's a
Jordan
very, very
Clarkson's
good
25.
young core.
He's the old man at 25. Like,
He has
and
been
he's
on the Lakers
contract.
longer than
2
anybody.
years from now, he's going to make $5 million less than KCP's making now.
Yes.
There's a reason teams are going to want him. Like,
Yes.
this is the best core I've ever seen.
It is there's a few other cores.
I did not
but
feel this way 2 months ago. I'm seeing the way
it is
they're
a
playing.
very,
Oh, and
very
Larry
good
Nance
core.
Jr.,
Yeah,
of
it is a very, very good young core.
I'm realizing it's untradeable. 'Cause
And I would say that those guys that have been coming up, not necessarily just on this podcast, but the guys that are free agents next year, this coming summer, they know that we've seen LeBron talking with Lonzo after the game in Cleveland. I mean, so Paul George knows who the Lakers have. He's been very complimentary of the guys. They know
suddenly complimentary of his own guys now.
Yeah,
Russ is the best, man.
yeah.
Which he is.
I mean, I don't know why Paul George just is having trouble keeping his mouth shut.
He's kind of like a great Lance Stevenson.
he's
real kooky.
He's just having trouble keeping his mouth shut. I don't like what he
That's
should be
right.
saying. He shouldn't be telling us anything.
But he's like kooky like Lance Stevenson, but he's great. When his shot's not dropping, he locks you up on D.
Yep.
And then he locks you up on D when his shot's dropping. He's incredible.
Paul George is a very, very good NBA player.
I love him more and more and more, baby.
He
Come
is a
on,
very,
PG-13,
very,
baby. Let's
very
rate that
good.
movie. We're going to take a quick break here, and then it's Ask ALP. We do have a question from the lady boss, Jeanie Buss. Joe Gillen going to get your question in right after these words.
Hey, this is Jim Litke, host of AP Sports Weekly, where we harness the shoe leather, insight, and experience of some of the smartest reporters in the business to bring you the news. I've been an AP Sports columnist since 1989 and covered every major championship around the globe multiple times and crossed paths with some of the greatest athletes of our time. And now I'm excited to bring you a weekly recap of the most interesting happenings in sports. So make sure to download new episodes of AP Sports Weekly every Tuesday on PodcastOneSports.com, the new Podcast One app, and Apple Podcasts.
Have you ever been one of those unhappy customers that walked away thinking, if I ran that business, I know what I'd do? Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the law firm Cordell & Cordell. I felt that way years ago after my divorce, but I never did discard those ideas. And today, that vision forms the foundation of the firm that you know as Cordell & Cordell. And basically, that vision was a divorce firm dedicated to serving men with a client-centered focus on the things that clients value most, such as attorney preparation, regular client updates, and same-day return calls. And in turn, this results-focused operating system would be monitored by a client care representative. The result, a truly interactive link between our performance and your satisfaction.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's San Francisco area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 650-389-1111. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in San Francisco, San Mateo, and San Jose. Se habla español. Legal services available in English and Spanish. Kimberly Llewellyn, licensed in California.
America's Lakers podcast. Welcome back, friends. Jay Mohr, Aaron Larsuel, and we are blessed to have from the Republic of Brooklyn, William Jefferson Hayes.
William Jefferson Hayes.
La Machine.
La Machine.
Brooklyn's a republic now?
It is where he's there.
Okay.
Since I've been there.
He's the prime minister.
Park Slope and that neck of the woods?
Marine Park section.
Yeah, okay.
Come on now.
All right. Chris Mullen.
Chris Mullen, Joe Torre, Terrence Winter.
Do you have your chest hair coming out of your jersey back when you played too?
Did you ever
Chris
see
Mullen?
hair grow on steel?
There you go.
All right. Answers that.
Chris Mullen, baby. Thank you, everybody, for rating, reviewing, subscribing. We're very grateful for that. And the buzzwords, you can, put anything you want in those reviews. I've been asking for jibber jabber.
Yes.
Just for no reason whatsoever.
I mean, I think we should just be bold and say, give us that 5-star review. I don't.
Well, yeah, give us a 5-star review and write, these guys are a couple of sweethearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Valentine's Day is coming up. Nice. Or as he says, Valentine's.
Valentine's.
Hey, why don't you do that rapper a little longer and louder there? We got a junior Laker over there.
Yeah.
By the way, they're undefeated when Meredith Daniels in the building. I'm just saying.
That's true. You know what? I've also heard my brother. He's told me my brother is now 4 or 5-0.
Yeah, we're 2-10 or something with me this year. No bueno. I'm going to stay away.
Okay.
I think
I'm not.
I know you're not. I know I'm not staying away. You kidding me? It's the greatest show on earth, baby. Let's do this. Ask ALP. Joe Gillen, I got to your question. Aaron and I did, I should say, and that was, of course, about trades.
Yes.
Trade deadlines approaching. The thing is, we don't know who's calling. We don't know who's asking for what. So, if you want to move contracts, obviously, dang, bye-bye.
Of course. I fear that it's going to, the price to move him, the cost to move him will be too high, and it just isn't worth it. And you can't give up 2 first-round draft picks to get off of.
You don't have one. The first-round draft pick that you mentioned, and by the way, Deng not playing doesn't help his draft movability. Trade movability, because you and I have been to more Laker games than Luol Deng.
Yes,
I've not been in the building.
No, I've been to all of them at home and a handful of the roadies. So, yes,
so if you're going to practice every day, what's the? I honestly don't know the reason to not go to the game.
Podcast One has new shows on our new app. Check out all the cool features to help you explore our exciting new programming, like America's Lakers podcast with Jay Mohr, So Random with Corinne Olympios, Attack Each Day, The Harbaugh's podcast, Not Just Sports with Susie Schuster and Rich Eisen, and Sessions with Randy Jackson, as well as your old favorites like The Lady Gang, Steve Austin, Shaquille O'Neal, and Adam Carolla. Get the new Podcast One app in the App Store, Google Play, or podcastone.com.
America's Lakers podcast, the only official podcast of your Los Angeles Lakers, as Al Pacino said up top. Lakers win, oh lordy. Billy Hayes, Republic of Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's a republic?
It is now, with the Prime Minister sitting to my left. Billy, how are you? Ooh.
I am wonderful.
Good to see you, Billy.
Thanks, Al.
Oh, Aaron Larsuel, Tracy Morgan is due to arrive. I know who I'm going to trade from the Lakers, and that's George Mikan. George Mikan got to go.
Does he come with? Oh, well, you're trading him out. Yeah. Well, does he?
Gotta go.
Are you sending the goggles too?
No, I'm keeping those goggles.
Actually, I don't even know if those were goggles. I think those were just straight reading glasses.
He actually wore
bifocals.
CVS readers.
Yeah.
Oh, I have all guys
to bring in your
NBA.
prescription, George Mikan.
I love it. Guys wear glasses the whole game, and then when they take a free throw, they pull the glasses up over their heads.
Oh
so
yeah,
they
Murray
can see.
Stoudemire. Yeah.
They all do it. It's amazing. Miss Murray. Man, wish that guy didn't get breaking down like McDice. There's a whole bunch of guys. Kittles.
You know, the end of his career, he was taking baths in red wine.
Yes, I did know that.
Good for his knees or something. I don't know.
Or maybe he needs to go to a meeting. Who knows? But you know what? Different strokes, different folks.
I don't know. Does that
Murray.
can you get drunk through your pores? I wonder.
I would figure out a way. Yeah. No, I don't know. I doubt it. America's Lakers podcast, the official podcast of your Los Angeles Lakers. Friends, trade scenarios. Joe Gillen actually asked ALP, hashtag Ask ALP, asked this. And we touched a lot about trades.
Yes.
Before I get to it, I want to ask you guys to go rate and review this podcast. It helps us in perpetuity. Give us 5 stars and write something like, these two are just sweethearts. That's it.
It is the season for such comments.
You're darn tootin'. You're darn tootin'. Hashtag
where
ask.
are you and Alt Droopy gonna go for Valentine's Day?
We're not seeing each other anymore because
no.
Oh, I'm seeing the barefoot contestant now from the Food Network.
Oh,
how bad could that be?
You probably shouldn't tell Jeffrey then.
Don't tell Jeffrey. Ask ALP. Joe Gillen wanted to know, what trades would you guys make if you were the Los Angeles Lakers? My knee-jerk response is, dang, I'll take a rack of basketballs. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would
nothing
be,
against the man whatsoever.
That would be the ultimate goal. The problem. the ultimate goal would be to trade the money, trade Luol Deng's contract away. I think with the Lakers, a lot of the guys in the know around the NBA have said that the Lakers have come to the conclusion that Deng is immovable. I don't think that's specifically true. I don't think any contract in the NBA is immovable. Look, I mean, we just saw Blake Griffin and his 5 years, $600 billion contract just get traded. So I don't think any contract
10-time All-Stars. A little bit discrepancy between Luol Deng and Blake Griffin.
Well, that's fair. That's fair, but I don't think
Blaine Griffith.
That's him.
I don't think Luol Deng's contract is specifically immovable. I just think that the Lakers are realizing that the cost to do so is just prohibitive. I think it would honestly probably take 2 first-round picks.
We'll take Lonzo Ball and Luol.
Right.
No thanks.
Right, exactly. So I think the Lakers have decided they're probably not going to be able. I think Luol Deng will get. I think he will get waived and stretched.
Which is like refinancing your house, which
Basically.
we've explained here on on America's Lakers podcast. It's like, hey, it's $18 million for your house. That's your mortgage. If you stretch and waive Luol Deng, what you're doing is essentially now you have a 10-year mortgage for $9 million.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that if this doesn't turn into a situation, I think Bobby Bonilla from the Mets is getting paid from 1998 through 2025. Yeah, 2035.
Greatest player in the history of baseball.
I think he gets $1.2 million. Yes, there's Bobby Bonilla. Yeah, it's March 20th. There's Bobby Bonilla Day, I guess, coming up.
I love it. He's my favorite player ever.
March 1st.
That knucklehead wore earplugs to drown out the heckles, and he didn't get brown earplugs. He had the bright orange ones sticking out of it. And once the fans knew he was wearing bright orange earplugs,
construction worker.
Construction
worker, concert goer.
Yeah, look, take it from me. You got to cut them in half, get them roughly the same color as your head, and stick them in your ears.
So then you'd go with orange.
Yes, my big orange head from fishing, from removing bass from the Pacific Ocean via paddleboard.
So
Luol Deng.
Other than that, Luol Deng, the Lakers would love to move his contract.
There's no one I want to move on this team.
No, I think most likely to be traded is probably Jordan Clarkson.
That seems to be it. But
I think he's most likely to be traded.
I think you said teams, the biggest, you said, it might have been episode 1, Aaron, the biggest mistake an NBA team makes is misevaluating their own talent, like James Harden in the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Misevaluate, and that can cut 2 ways. It's you've drafted guys and you have them in camp and you've seen them for a few years and you give up on them too quickly. That can be a problem. Or misidentifying your own guys and re-signing your own guys for way too much money and locking yourself into them. So that's what really sinks an organization.
I'm afraid that's what we're looking at with Jordan Clarkson, because in 2 years he'll make $4 million less than KCP is making right now.
Yes, but KCP doesn't make $18 million now because the Lakers specifically thought he was an $18 million player. He makes that because the Lakers had to pay him a premium to get him to accept a contract of only 1 year in duration.
Well, I mean, Tyreek Evans has a different accountant.
Tyreek Evans is not. He's been better than KCP this year, but going into this offseason, as a free agent, nobody thought of Tyreek Evans as a guy at the value of KCP.
Well, I agree with you, but $3 million versus 17 and change. Come on,
sure.
There's nobody.
But it's not just the Lakers who didn't give Tyreek a bunch of money, because if he could have gotten more, he would have.
You're absolutely correct. And again, you've crystallized my thoughts eloquently. Is Jordan Clarkson a guy, 14 points if you start him, 14 points if he comes off the bench, 14 points when he's upset, 14 points when he's happy?
Right.
He's minus 5 minutes this year. He's taken 2 less shots a game. No matter how you bake.
He's definitely improved his efficiency this year.
No matter how you bake a Jordan Clarkson, it's a 14-point. That's it. You got 14. You're going to get 2 assists. He's not an assist guy.
No.
He gets you buck. Not like Lou Williams.
No. He's not going to guard anybody, but
there's a reason teams are going to call for him.
He definitely has value, yeah.
He just seems like a guy that's going to specifically torch the Lakers if he leaves.
I think wherever he goes, I think what you're saying is correct. Wherever guys like that, guys like Jordan Clarkson and Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford, these kind of just professional scorers, you can put them anywhere with any teammates and they're going to get buckets. So I think if Clarkson does end up getting moved, he is a guy that is going to come back and just get buckets.
Do you see a team on the horizon? This is all, supposition entirely. Everybody says, the Mavericks, they love doing deals with the Lakers. I'm like, name one. As Norm Macdonald's fake pitch that was better than anything I ever actually wrote. It was a game show called Name 2. Steve Allen is in the Guinness Book of World Records for writing over 3,400 songs. Billy Hayes for $1 million. Name 2.
Right.
So, like, name 2 deals. They never, whatever. Where do you see Jordan Clarkson fitting in and the team going, whoa, this is great?
Well, I think it has to be a situation kind of like Lou Williams last year getting traded to the Rockets. I think it needs to be a place because he has a very good contract. He's like basically $12 million for 2 years past this one. Wow. I think it needs to be a place where they view Jordan Clarkson as a guy that can kind of get them over the hump.
Wizards.
He would be.
First team I wrote down.
Yeah, no, the Wizards. He would be good there, especially now that John Wall is having some knee trouble. We don't know what's going on with John Wall.
We both had the Pistons a couple weeks ago.
Oh, we did. I thought the Pistons.
And,
Pistons could have been a place that
they made their $1 billion big bid.
Yes, I mean, but the thing with the Pistons is like they can't even get a meeting with a free agent the stature of Blake Griffin. So this is the only way, unless they draft him, this is the only way they can get those kind of guys. So
they should take his brother Blaine Griffith.
Washington's not bad. There's not a lot of minutes in the backcourt in Washington with Beal and Wall, but that's not a bad one. I think San Antonio.
He gets 20 certainly.
20 minutes. Oh yeah.
That's what he's getting.
Yeah, he would be the third guard. I think San Antonio would not be. I mean, I haven't like looked at it. I don't know of a trade if the Lakers and Spurs are good trade partners in this scenario. But just if you're asking me places, I think Jordan Clarkson would be helpful. I think the Spurs, Tony Parker. We don't know what's going on with Tony Parker and DeJounte Murray is now starting.
Would you take straight up Tony Parker for Jordan Clarkson?
On which side?
Lakers.
From the Lakers? No.
Why not?
Because Clarkson's a better player.
Okay, I just want that on record.
Yeah, no. Clarkson. Tony Parker's doesn't have a lot left.
Who on the Spurs do you think makes that a fair deal?
Well, it's about. I mean, the problem is that the objectives are different, and I think
Spurs want to beat the W's.
Yeah, I mean, the Spurs need some scoring punch to kind of get back in the conversation with the Warriors and the Rockets. And so I think it has to be a situation where, any trade that the Lakers are going to make at this point has to have financial ramifications going forward.
Yeah, that means Larry Nance is most likely as immovable as Luol Deng, unless it's like a 3-player deal.
Well, I mean, a lot of people
nobody's got a guy that makes $1.4 million.
Right. A lot of people would love Larry Nance,
but they can't send $1 million.
What are the Lakers back. The Lakers don't need to cut $1 million from their books, so it doesn't make sense to trade Larry Nance in a financial move.
And nobody can send you a player that you want that's making $1.5 million.
Correct.
Jeanie Buss.
Well, they can. You'd rather have Nance.
Correct. He's a handsome man too.
He's a good-looking dude. Yeah.
I saw him in Newport Beach.
In the dunk contest in L.A. Representing his dad. Representing his dad. His dad won the dunk contest. I think his dad won the first dunk contest.
Larry Nance?
Yeah. I believe that's the first one.
Okay, Mr. Dictionary.
And that was also that was also in L.A. That was at the Forum, I believe. The 84, because that's the one Marvin Gaye sang the national anthem at the.
The Forum's in L.A., Aaron.
It is, dumb guy.
Marvin's Gay.
I don't know.
Watch your mouth, dumb guy.
I don't know. I don't think
so,
but I don't know.
Hey, that's sacred, dumb guy. Watch it now. Jeanie Buss, Lady Boss herself.
Yes.
Hashtag ask. We're getting tweets from the owner of the Lakers.
That's not a terrible thing.
That's really awesome.
She wants to participate in the show.
You want to read it?
You
want to have the honors? It's a really good one, too.
It is. It's a very, very,
sharp
very...
gal. That's Lady Boss.
It is.
I want the in-house announcer to go, Lady Boss.
Do you think he will?
Nope.
In the same way he says Laker girls?
Laker girls.
I
like all in-house announcers. Like when you score, it's like, we went to a lot of Knicks games, Billy. Yeah. It'd be like, Patrick Ewing! That was Dale Ellis?
Yes.
Ho-hum.
So
Dale Ellis has like 60 points in a quarter.
At Jeanie Buss, the Lady Boss herself, says, Dear ALP, a question for you guys for the podcast. How different would the 2017 draft look if they were to hold the draft today?
That's a great... I
think it would look very different because most of the guys would be hungover from the Super Bowl parties. But
I'm coming home last night. It took me like 2 hours to get from Thousand Oaks to under the sea here. Lonzo Ball's staying at number 2. We know that.
Yeah, so I kind of redid the lottery.
We know that.
So just to refresh everybody, Markelle Fultz went first, then Lonzo, Josh Tatum, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox.
So Fultz, by the way, yikes.
Yeah, but as I'm going to get to, I think he's still a lottery guy. Just because his talent was so prodigious coming in. He was basically
I just mean right now,
unanimous
yikes.
number one.
Philly's number one pick. It's Anthony Bennett.
Right now, it's not good.
Oh, no, that was the Cavaliers. But he
so I kind of redid the – yes, he was
Go ahead. So we have Fultz,
So Fultz, Lonzo, Tatum.
May I put an addendum on this before you even start?
Yes.
Which would be a pro-addendum. I'm not sure what you call it.
Sure.
I read articles about redoing this draft, and Tatum always – the Celtics take him at 1. They don't go to 3. What people don't realize is the Celtics – it's actually one of the best business moves I've seen in my lifetime from a team. The reason they went down to 3, Billy, is that million or $1.8 million is what allowed Gordon Hayward to come under the cap under a max deal. If they took him at 1, they don't have money.
Right, so they traded down with Philly.
So that's staying
and Philly gave them picks. So when I'm redoing this, I'm saying that after all the trades have been made, the teams are staying where they are. So Philly is still drafting one. So I didn't really do this for team. I didn't do this for team need. I just thought like the
Rank
talent
the players.
now. Where would they go? So I went Tatum number 1.
Okay.
Lonzo number 2, not specifically to the Lakers in this case, just from what I've seen, what we thought going into the draft and what I've seen so far from everybody, kind of where I would rank them on a draft board now. Tatum 1, Lonzo 2, Donovan Mitchell, who was the 13th pick, the Jazz rookie, the 13th pick, I would put him 3rd now. Then Markelle Fultz, I still have Markelle Fultz 4th.
Wait, where's Dennis Smith Jr., baby?
Oh, we'll get to him. We'll get to him.
You been hanging out with Josh Jackson?
Yeah, we have the same haircut. Can't you tell?
Legalize it.
So for me, Fultz 4, then Larry Markkinen, I have 5th. He went 7th to the Bulls.
Wait, I thought you had Mitchell 4.
I have Mitchell 3rd.
You have Tatum 1, Zoe 2.
Donovan Mitchell.
Got you.
Then Markelle Fultz 4th. Laurie Markkinen 5th.
Where did they take him, 7th?
7th, yeah. The Bulls took him 7th.
Kid can ball. It doesn't make sense. That body, he gets his boards.
6th, I have Dennis Smith Jr. He went 9th in the.
You don't think the Bulls take him?
Well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it for. I didn't do it for.
I apologize.
Yeah, I didn't do it for need specifically.
Let me give myself my own business card.
And I don't think the Bulls don't have.
Just forget I even spoke, please.
7th here, but here's where we get 7th. I have Kyle Kuzma. He went 27th in the original draft. I have Kyle Kuzma 7th.
All right, get ready to call me a crazy person.
Okay.
I got Kuzma number 1.
You're a crazy person.
I got Kuzma number 1. Kuzma on the Sixers. If you're going by what they're doing right now, I know Tatum's the sexy pick. But, man, nobody's yelling, Tatum, Kuz, that whole building. No, I know that's my heart.
No, that's fine. That's
Rookie
fine.
of the year. I agree with everything you said. I have Tatum 1. I have Zoe 2.
And then let's finish. I think 8th, Jordan Bell, who the Warriors bought the Bulls' second-round picks. Jordan Bell went 38th in the draft. I would put him 8th.
And he had a coming-out party against the Bulls.
He did.
Sell me.
And then Jonathan Isaac, who went 6th, the Orlando Magic rookie. And then I would put Josh Hart 10th. I think Josh Hart is after what we've seen so far, I think if you do the redraft today, Josh Hart is a lottery pick. So the Lakers got 3 lottery picks. 3 lottery picks for then Frank Ntilikina 11th, De'Aaron Fox 12th, and Josh Jackson 13th to round out the lottery for me.
What about Ferguson, that Duncan madman?
He is really terrible on defense.
All right. Well, so they say so is Kuzma.
Kuzma's not been great.
So Kuzma goes up 20 spots.
For me, he does, yeah. From 27th to 7th.
I'm shocked you have Dennis Smith Jr. 6th over behind Fultz, Markkinen. If the sample size is this year, and we're not including the teams underneath.
Right, but I also took into account, because the sample size is kind of small, just the body of work so far, I also took into account what we thought going into the draft, like all the draft prep stuff. So what's happened so far carries more weight to me, but I think it's too early to completely just forget what we thought about guys going in. And Markelle Fultz was...
That's interesting, because that's the only way I'm doing it. I have to forget about Markelle Fultz at Washington, because in the NBA, he's hurt. He don't play. And the shot's broken. The footage we've seen of the shot, we're like, that wasn't the shot that we saw. How do you break a shot?
I saw on Twitter a movie poster with Markelle Fultz and his shooting motion, and it was a movie poster from the Will Smith movie Hitch.
Oh, my gosh, that's hilarious.
It was very funny.
Feel free to forward me those, please. I have Tatum 1, Zoe 2. I have Mitchell 3. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, I don't know, man. I wouldn't argue. I mean, if you put Kuzma 4th, I wouldn't argue with you. But Dennis Smith, a point guard's a point guard, though. Correct. So I'll go Smith Jr., then I'll go Kuz. So that's my top 5. That's top 5 all-time MCs right there. Kyle Kuzma. When's his album come out?
I don't know, but it should come out shortly after. I mean, he looked like I think it was in Brooklyn. Do you see the fur coat he had on? He looked like they were. That's why I'm asking. The turtleneck. So I think guys were giving him a hard time.
Hey, let's just say this on the record on the official Lakers podcast. Kuz, we see you. The real hip-hop is over there. We see you, dude. If you're going to drop it, you will own that team playing, and they won't be playing Zoe beats. They'll be playing the Kuz tunes.
Did you see Lonzo's he's in Lithuania. He's going to perform. He's going to have like a concert. He's going to.
You know, those are lucky Lithuanians, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something right now. No joke. Like, you and I wouldn't go. Of course, we'd be front row like, Zoe,
oh, yeah, no, I'm going.
I'd lose my mind.
Oh, I'm going. What's up, dude? I got to make sure my passport is in order. I'm going.
I might get lost in Rome on the way there or something. Yeah, baby. That's the new Kuz album. I'm telling you, fur coat. He's not flossing, man. He's legit.
That's the new Kuz album?
No. I sat on my reading glasses and music comes out.
I hope not.
Jeanie Buss, that's a great question.
That was a very interesting question.
The Lakers
for me,
have
three Lakers in the top 10 for me.
Picks.
Yep.
Josh Hart, yeah, wow. Talk about killing a draft.
Yeah.
Woo! That Toggle Hunt. This is America's Lakers podcast. Rate, review, iTunes. Ask ALP. It is always open. Ladies' line is lit. So is the wild card. From Baja to the Canadian Rockies. America's Lakers podcast. Billy Hayes, any part? You're going to the game to see the Phoenix Suns lose to the...
See the Phoenix Suns tomorrow night. I'll be sitting there and somewhere in the stadium.
What's that now? We can't hear you, Billy.
Phoenix Suns.
I don't know what he's saying anymore. Something about a sun. He gets too much sun. Yeah. Aaron, why don't you just sit with Aaron Larsuel?
I will be there. I will be in the house.
Oh, Aaron Larsuel and Billy Hayes. If a fight broke out in Staples, I have you two. Only if Jimmy Concrete and Oakley were there at the same time.
You know, remember the time we had that in Gotham Comedy Club when the bunch of kids in the back? Yeah, and we had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Do you know, a year later, I went to dinner at Rayo's in Pleasant Avenue up in Harlem, and that gentleman was sitting at my table that was with one of the guys we threw out. He says, I know you. I said, from where? He said, Gotham, you threw me out. You and Jay Mohr.
He took it well, I guess.
Oh, yeah, he knew what happened that night.
I wouldn't know the guy from Adam.
It wasn't going to happen at Rayo's.
I wouldn't know the guy from Adam. It's like a comedy club. You're just tossing bodies. Billy Hayes. Aaron would too. You guys are just wired differently. Yeah. I'm like a baseball closer, short memory, even when I win.
Yeah, that was fun that night.
That was nice, baby. Yeah. All right, so if you guys see Aaron Larsuel and Billy Hayes,
come
go
say
give
hi.
him some love.
Come say hi to us.
No monkey business. It's all love, baby. Love wins. You know, Billy, there's the gold.
Yankees, baby.
There's the gold standard, right?
Absolutely.
But then
there's the purple and gold standard.
We love you guys.
Thanks for listening to America's Lakers podcast with Jay Mohr, exclusively on Podcast One Sportsnet. New episodes every Wednesday on PodcastOne.com, the Podcast One app, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Not long ago, we celebrated our 25th anniversary as a firm dedicated to, as many of you have heard, helping guys through one of the most difficult and crucial times in their lives. Starting out in 1990, my wife and I didn't realize that our mission would grow to include hundreds of attorneys, serving tens of thousands of guys across America and now in England. And though I'm proud of our growth, I'm most proud of the values that are the foundation of our success. And while it's true that Cordell & Cordell has aggressively defended guys facing divorce, the cornerstone of our practice, we've also encouraged reconciliation where possible. The fact is, we're proud to be the partner that guys can count on when the partner they hope for let them down.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's San Francisco area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in San Francisco, San Mateo, and San Jose. Se habla español. Legal services available in English and Spanish. Kimberly Llewellyn, licensed in California.